Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 10, Opulence, the Opulence of the Absolute. Text, we'll do text 30, 36, and 37. So I'll read text 36 first, and then we'll recite text 37. 36. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, I am strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme, therefore represents Krishna. As the supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided. So there's many kind of cheaters all over the universe, not only in Vrindavan and in India, all over the universe it says. You know, when you come to Vrindavan, if you have white skin, everybody, all the local people, their eyes light up with dollar signs. And you know, if you're going to go to the Lorry Bazaar, or you're going to get a rickshaw, someone's going to try and cheat you. Well, you have to fix the price first, so they can't cheat you. At least they'll try to. It's very common to get cheated in Vrindavan. And Krishna says that the cheating process, gambling stands supreme, therefore represents Krishna. So in America, there's one city called Las Vegas. It's a sin city. They have 10 gambling houses. And people go there with the idea that they're going to double their money or triple their money and get rich. But instead of getting more money, they get cheated. Especially they have this one wheel that goes around, and whenever it stops, you put your money on that number. If it stops on that number, you win. So they have that wheel, and people put their money on one place, and the man running it, he makes it stop there, so you win a few times. Then you put all your money on one place, and he spins the wheel, and then he has a little button he pushes, make sure it doesn't stop on the same place where your money is, and then you lose all your money. So this is how they cheat people. And we know the Pandavas were challenged to gambling and dice. It says all kinds of gambling. Dice is the biggest kind of cheating. The Sukhini and the Gurus, they cheated the Pandavas out of everything. Well, not only one time they cheated them, they went away, they still had something. They called them back the second time, and they cheated them out of everything. Not only they cheated them out of everything, including their wife, Draupadi. So, and then the Pandavas were forced to go and live in the forest for 12 years. In this way, they were cheated. So cheating goes on, husband and wife, the woman, the man, they cheat on the woman cheats on the husband cheats on the wife, the businessman, man owns a shop, he says to the customer, for you we make no profit, but we know he's lying, but because if he didn't make any profit he wouldn't have a business. But it's this cheating process. Anyway, that the gambling dice Balaram gambled with had a gambling match with Rukmi. Rukmi was the brother of Rukmini, and he was envious of Krishna. So it says dice in the 10th canto. In the Krishna book it says chess. In either case, Balaram lost the first 2 times, but then the third time Balaram won. Then they had another match, and Balaram kept winning. And then, but Rukmi was saying that he was the winner. And then there was a voice from the sky that said, for all practical purposes, for all honesty, Balaram's the winner. But Rukmi kept insisting that he was the winner. So Balaram has a club, took out his club, and killed Rukmi. And Krishna was there, but Krishna didn't say anything. Because on his marriage ceremony, day of his marriage, so Krishna didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to take Balaram's side, but then Rukmini would be unhappy. He didn't want to take Rukmini's side, because then Rukmini would be. He didn't want to take Rukmini's side because Rukmini would be unhappy. And he didn't want to take Balaram's side because then. Anyway, they would be unhappy if Krishna took anyone's side. So Krishna was neutral. But that was one gambling match. Another, we know, we're reading the 8th canto, where Bali Maharaj gave Lord Vamadev 3 steps of land. Bali Maharaj was asked Vamadev to ask for a benediction, and he asked for 3 steps of land. So Bali Maharaj gave it to him, but Vamadev was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He took 2 steps and he took everything. And then he said, "You cheated me. Where should I put my 3rd step?" So Bali Maharaj said, "You should put it on my head." So Vamadev apparently cheated Bali Maharaj. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising, industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventure, he is the most adventurous. Among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one could surpass him in cheating. No one could surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. No one can surpass him in strength. So Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill at the age of 7. When Indra was angry, when Krishna's father was going to make an Indra sacrifice to Indra, Krishna said, you should worship Govardhan Hill. You can worship Indra later. And this made Indra very angry. So Indra threw torrents of rain and hail and so many natural disturbances to. He wanted to devastate the whole area of Vrindavan, but Krishna then, all the people were shivering, were suffering, so Krishna went from his house in Nandagram to Govardhan without getting one drop of water on himself. And then he lifted Govardhan hill. He picked it up with the left little finger of his left hand, and he held it up for 7 days. He was only 7 years old, but the hill expanded 32 miles, so all the residents of Vrindavan could go under the hill with all the cows and all the paraphernalia, and no one was disturbed by Indra's attack. So Krishna was lifting the hill for 7 days, holding it with one left hand, and Mother Yasoda was feeding him with his right hand because he thought Krishna was going to get weak but if he didn't eat anything. So one of Krishna's famous pastimes in showing that he has the strength of the strong. Krishna can do anything. He can make something so heavy that no one can lift it, and he can lift it himself. So now we'll read text 37. Vishninam Vasudev Asmin Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Api Aham Vyasa Kavivam Ushana Kavi. Word for word. Vishninam, of the descendants of Vishnu. Vasudeva, Krishna in Dwarka. As me, I am. Pandavanam, of the Pandavas. Dhananjaya, Arjuna. Muninam, of the sages. Api, also. Aham, I am. Vyasa, Vyas, compiler of all Vedic literature. Kavinam, of all great thinkers. Ushana, Kaviha, the thinker. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Of the descendants of Vishnu, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas. Among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Om Arginatram Dasya Jana Jana Sakaya Sakshurimitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Tanti Swapadantikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are the Vivahutis, or the opulence of Krishna. Starts with text 20 and goes to text 39. And the verses. And these are being described for the common man to give people an idea that God is a person and that He can has the ability to empower different personalities and different things to act in this world. It's a common misconception among the scientists and philosophers that life is a combination of chemicals, and that there's no creator, there's no God. Many people are atheists, they say there's no God. I was riding on the airplane, I met one man. First thing he said to me, I don't believe in God. So, okay, you don't believe in God, so I'm not going to try to preach to you, because preaching to the faithless is one of the 10 offenses to the holy name. But he was a nice man, he wasn't envious or anything, he wasn't a mean man. But I gave him some prasadam, he took some prasadam, and I didn't talk to him too much. But at the end of the flight, he said to me, well, maybe there is a God. Changed his mind. So there's many people like that in this world that think there is no God, and everything's a product of the combination of chemicals and a combination of atoms, and then that is how the world is going on. Of course, they can't prove it. They can't produce life in a laboratory. They can't explain how everything came about. So they say that it was a big bang. So you take a pile of dynamite and you explode it, and then you can get a big building, skyscraper building. Big Bang Theory. Well, they say there's a big fiery ball, and one time in creation the fiery ball came down, the fire went out, and all of a sudden life started coming from that. Or they have Darwin's theory that the different species evolved from one species to the next, and man is coming from the monkeys. But Darwin didn't know anything about the soul, so his theory can't be accepted as bona fide. It's like having a bank balance, a bank account. If you make a mistake on your bank account at the beginning of the month, then your bank account, the balance is always going to be wrong. So since Darwin didn't know anything about the soul, can't accept his theory of evolution, because he only could account for the bodies. He didn't know anything. The bodies of 8,400,000 species of life. The forms are always there, but the soul is going from one form to the next to the next. Deino smenitade komaramyo vinamjara tatadeandra paptir dirasta tranamuyate. So this is why Krishna, speaking about his opulences for the common man, gives some idea that it's not by chance. Things don't happen by chance, and things are many of these wonderful things in this world should remind us of Krishna. Krishna says, Rasamama Kuntaya, I'm the taste of water. So even an alcoholic, if he goes in a bar and drinks alcohol, but he thinks that's the taste, the taste of Krishna, he's also Krishna conscious. So nothing can happen by accident or by chance. Everything has to have something behind it. If you buy a nice car and you can park it in front of your house and look at it for a long time, and you can even sit inside it, but it won't go anywhere unless you have a driver. Unless there's a living entity to drive it. So it's absurd to think that there's no creator and that life comes from chemicals. So here it says, Of descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of sages, I am Vyas. Among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Purport. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladev is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Krishna and Baladev appeared as sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad-Gita is Baladev or Balaram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Vamsa, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called Vivimnamsa, separated expansions. So these things are explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya's teachings to Sanatana Goswami about the different incarnations. And when Krishna, it says here that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So, they have the Janmastan, Krishna's birthplace in Mathura. So how is that? If Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, how can he take birth in Mathura? So the answer is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam purport, that Mother Devaki gave birth to a baby girl who was Yogamaya, and what? Yeah, that's right. Devaki gave birth to a girl, and Vasudeva, that was considered a miscarriage. Then Krishna gave birth, then Devaki gave birth again to Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He had four-arm form, and when he was a child, we had a four-arm form. So they were afraid that Kamsa would kill him, so they asked him to assume the form of a child. So he assumed the form of a child. Then Vasudeva took baby Krishna to Vrindavan and exchanged the boy with the girl that was born to Yasoda, which was Yogamaya. And she became Subhadra, she became Durga Devi. So what happened was this Mother Yasoda gave birth to a child, but she fell asleep after that, and she didn't know whether she gave birth to a boy or a girl, and no one else knew. So Vasudeva came there and exchanged the boy, Vasudeva Krishna, and took the baby girl back to Mathura. And the Nanda Krishna took birth simultaneously along with the baby girl, but by his Yogamaya potency. So when the Mother Yasoda woke up, and all the residents in Vrindavan who were aware that the child was born, they saw that baby Krishna, it was a boy. So this is a mystery, but it's explained by the Acharyas that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, so he didn't actually, the real, original Krishna, two-armed form Krishna, Nanda Krishna, he didn't take birth in Mathura. It was the Vasudeva Krishna, the four-armed form, his expansion. And so when Krishna leaves Vrindavan with Balaram at the age of 11, Krishna and Balaram were summoned by Kamsa to go to Mathura for a wrestling match, because Kamsa thought he could kill Krishna and Balaram. He tried so many ways, he sent so many demons to kill Krishna and Balaram, but none of them, they all failed. So Kamsa thought if Krishna came there, then he would be able to, wrestlers would be able to kill Krishna and Balaram. But it didn't happen. But the Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but his expansion goes to Mathura, and Balaram never leaves Vrindavan. His expansion, Shankarshan, also went to Mathura. So here it says that Krishna, Vasudeva, the Krishna in Dwarka. So Krishna has 3 realms, one in the Golok Vrindavan, the Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. And those 3 realms are also present on this planet. But the Vrindavan is the place where Krishna has his pastimes, his Madhurya Bhava, his sweetness pastimes. And in Dwarka and Mathura, it's a different mood. It's Aishwarya Bhav. It's all in reverence. So it's all part of the spiritual world, but there's variegatedness. It's not the spiritual life, when you become spiritual, that you give up your identity. Sometimes they criticize Srila Prabhupada for riding in a big car. They say you're supposed to be a spiritual man, and why are you riding in a big car, accepting all kinds of opulences? And Prabhupada said that this car is just a piece of junk, steel and glass and plastic. It's not such a wonderful thing. It's just the spiritual master should have a gold car. And it says near Bandhan Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Uchite that you can use anything in Krishna's service. So Krishna Prabhupada didn't care what kind of car he had, but the devotees arranged it for him, so he accepted it. And it didn't make his spiritual position any less important. It didn't degrade him in any way. If he rode in a big car, if he rode in an old car or any car, he was still on the spiritual platform. And because it didn't make any difference to him. But the devotees wanted to impress people that Prabhupada was a great acharya, great personality, so they wanted to give him the best they could possibly get for him. So this is why. So this is the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, that we can use everything in Krishna's service. So, but Prabhupada was he's saying that the spiritual master is as good as Krishna, but he's not Krishna. He's the worshipper of Krishna, and Krishna is the worshipable God, and spiritual master is the worshipper of Krishna. So we treat him, he should be treated on the same level as Krishna, but he's not Krishna. Krishna is tu Bhagavan Swayam. No one can beat Krishna. He's just, Krishna is the source, Sarvakar Karnam, the source of everything. So this is explained here, that Krishna is the expansions. He has his Vamsa, personal expansions, then he has separated expansions. So you have Krishna, then he has Balaram, and Krishna and Balaram are both the Supreme Personality Godhead. The only difference is the color. Krishna is dark complexion, and Balaram is white. And but so they both appear in this material world, Atma Maya, by the arrangement of the spiritual energy, Yoga Maya, to perform so many different pastimes. So this is the understanding here that Krishna is saying, I'm Vasudev, but he's the Vasudev in Dwarka, not in Vrindavan. And he has his expansions. It says the expansions of Krishna, incarnations of Krishna, are coming like the waves in the ocean, and no one can really count them, how many incarnations there are coming. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentions a few of the prominent incarnations, like the Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, the fish incarnation, the Vamadev, the dwarf incarnation. So many incarnations are there. They all descend from the spiritual world to the material world, form some pastimes, but they never come under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Everyone else, Prakriti, Kriyamanani, Guna Karmani, Sarvasaha, Hankara Vimudama, Kartaham iti manyate. The living entity under the spell of the three modes of material nature thinks himself to do activities which are actually carried out by nature. So Krishna and Krishna's expansions, they never become bewildered or come under the influence of the material energy. The Mayavadis and impersonalists, they wanted to say that when Krishna comes, he comes in a material form. And if the material energy was stronger than Krishna, then the material energy would be supreme. But Krishna is the source. Aham Sarvasya Bhavavo. He's the source of everything. So he comes in the material world, but he comes in his spiritual body, in his spiritual form, and he doesn't have to, never comes under the influence of the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. So he's on the transcendental platform. But when Krishna was in the battlefield of Kuru, etc., when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, not everybody could understand his identity. And those who thought that Krishna was just a great personality in the battle of Kuru, etc., they got liberated, but they went to the Brahma Jyoti. And those who knew Krishna was Supreme Personality Godhead went to Vaikuntha. So Krishna has the power to kill the demons and to liberate them. But the devotees are not interested in liberation or to go to the Brahma Jyoti or even to go to Vaikuntha, but the devotees want to go to Golok Vrindavan and enjoy loving relationship with Krishna in different rasas. So here it says, among the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya, which means the winner of wealth. He's the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. So Arjuna is a expansion of Narayan Rishi. Krishna and Arjuna are Narayan Rishi, and when in Dwarka, one Brahmana kept giving birth to children, and they kept dying at birth. so no one could save him. But Arjuna, then after the 9th child, Arjuna said that I will make sure your 10th child doesn't die, or else I'll enter the fire. So when the 10th child was born, it died. So Arjuna had the power to go all over the universe to look for the child. He couldn't find it anywhere, so he was about to enter the fire. But Krishna was arranged all this and waited to the 10th child so he could save his devotee. And Krishna and Arjuna went to see Lord Vishnu in Svetadvip in the spiritual world in their Narayan form. And it was all the arrangement of Lord Vishnu to kill all the children so he could get the darshan of Krishna. So of the Pandavas, only Arjuna is a Narayan, part of expansion of Krishna as Nara, which is a empowered jiva, Shaktivesh, empowered jiva. Among the Munis or learned men, conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common people in this age of Kali. And Vyasa is also an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyasa also represents Krishna. So Sri Vyasadeva was born, he's called Dvaipayana Vyas, one fisherman daughter, had the service of taking people across the Yamuna. So she was taking Parasara Muni across the Yamuna, and in the middle of the river, Parasara Muni said, I want to have union with you. And she said, that's not possible, I'm a virgin girl. So he said, well, I'm not going to disturb your virginity. And he created a island and a fog around the island so no one could see what happened. And Vyasadeva took birth, Vedi Vyas. And then he left his mother and went to the Himalayas. And he told her that any time there was a problem, she could call him and he'd come and help her. So this Vyas is the literary incarnation of Krishna. He compiled all the Vedic literatures. Before the Kali Yuga, everybody was Shrutidar, which means they only had to hear one time instruction and they could remember everything. Even Sutta Goswami heard the Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, 18,000 verses, and he remembered everything, and then he repeated it again for the second time. But in Kali Yuga, men are short-lived and have short memories, and so it was necessary that Vyasadeva compile all the Vedic literatures and write them down for people to get this knowledge. But even though Vyasadeva compiled all the Vedic literatures, Puranas, Itihasas, he wasn't satisfied. He felt despondent. So Narada Muni was his spiritual master and told him that the reason you're feeling despondent because you wrote so many literatures, and including Mahabharata and but you haven't actually delineated on the importance of devotional service. You haven't stressed the fact that devotional service, Krishna says, Bhakti-mam abhijananti, that can only be known by devotional service. So then he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 verses, and it is the spotless Purana. And that's why Srila Prabhupada translated and purport the Srimad Bhagavatam into English, so that the whole world could understand the science of Krishna consciousness, to understand the science of bhakti-yoga, or devotional service. Otherwise, no one knows anything about what is devotional service. Even that word is unknown to common people. So Sri Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of God, he was the one who compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is why it says here that he's represents one of the powers of Krishna, Vibhuti, opulences of Krishna. And it says that Kavi are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushana, Shukracharya, was the spiritual master of demons. He was extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Thus Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. So Shukracharya is in the 8th canto. He was the spiritual master of Bali Maharaj. And he could understand that when Vamadeva came and the dwarf incarnation came, and Bali Maharaj agreed to give Vamadeva, he promised to give him 3 paces of land, or 3 steps of land. So Shukracharya could understand that he was Vishnu. So he advised Bali Maharaj not to give him anything, because he was afraid that if he gave him everything, he would lose his maintenance, he wouldn't be able to maintain himself. So Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons. He wasn't a devotee, but he was an extraordinary person. So he's mentioned here as a great, as being extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. And thus, he could see past, present, and future. Trikalya. So there's many great personalities, they can see past, present, and future. It's like Srila Prabhupada, when they got this land in Vrindavan, this was out in the middle of nowhere. And to take a rickshaw, you couldn't even get a rickshaw to bring you out here, because they couldn't get a passenger to go back to town. But Prabhupada was very happy to get this land and build a temple here, because he had the foresight to know that this was not always going to be that way, and that the whole area would be built up, and there would be no scarcity of people coming to this temple. They were worried about the guest house getting filled up and people coming to the temple, but now you can't even get a room in the guest house. It's always full. The temple's always crowded with people. Not only here, the same thing happened in Juhu Beach. There's also a jungle, but they got a temple there, and also it became a prominent area. So this is the difference. An ordinary man and a great man, he can see past, present, and future. So Prabhupada was also like that. So these things here, I mentioned here, that these things represent Krishna, cheaters, and Krishna is the biggest cheater. So you may cheat someone, but Krishna is not going to, will cheat you at the time of death. One person said to Prabhupada, I don't bow down to anyone, but Prabhupada said, you will have to bow down to God at the time of death. So someone may be a cheater, but he can't cheat Krishna. And one man was making $500,000 a year, and he wasn't satisfied with that. And $500,000 is, you can live very comfortably. So he He developed a cheating scheme to make more and more money. He ended up making $400 million. But he was caught, took to court and sentenced to 20 years in jail. So he tried to cheat, but he failed. He wasn't the greatest cheater. So this happens all the time. People are cheating in politics and everything. And Krishna is the most adventurous, so you can read about his pastimes in the Krishna book and in the 10th canto, and Krishna is the strongest, and so he's the splendor of the splendors, and so in this way the vibhutis are being explained here. Krishna says, I'm the gambling of cheats, I'm splendor, I'm victory, I'm adventure, I'm the strength of the strong. The descendants of Vrishni, I'm Vasudeva, of the Pandavas, I'm Arjuna, of sages, I'm Vyas, among great thinkers, I'm Ushana, which is another name for Shukacharya. So I'm going to stop there. Comments, questions? Microphone.
He told him Vishnu don't give him anything. So when Bali Maharaj did not listen to him and he gave everything to Vishnu, Vamandev, then after that Bali Maharaj, he was sent to Patal Lok and Lord became his doorkeeper. And that time, where was the position of Shukracharya? Can you tell something about that?
What?
Where was the position of Shukracharya after when Bali Maharaj was in Patal Lok and Lord was his doorkeeper? Where was Shukracharya? What was his position there?
Shukracharya, at the end of it, he realized his mistake. And I don't know what his position was after that, but he realized his mistake. And he did surrender to Krishna. At the end of that, in the 8th canto, you can read about it in the 8th canto, about Shukracharya.
Okay. One more point. As you said, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. But we see the gopis and Yashoda, Nandamara, they were all lamenting when he left for Mathura. So how we can understand that Krishna never left Vrindavan? Because the lamentation, and when they met at Kurukshetra, Krishna, and they were so much embracing Krishna, oh, we were seeing you after a long time. So how can you explain these things?
Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but he's hiding in the bushes. He was hiding. So Krishna is here, but by his Yogamaya potency, he was not visible. But he's here by his Lila Smaranam. It's explained in the Krishna book in 10th canto that the gopis feeling separation from Krishna was the same as Krishna being here. So Krishna is always here in one form or another. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, he's always here. Because Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes are non-different than Krishna. And Vrindavan is non-different than Krishna, so Krishna is always here.
From Mathura he sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to specify gopis. So what is that Leela?
Anyway, he sent to see the mood. He sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to witness the mood of the gopis and see their exalted position as best of all devotees. that feeling that the highest mood is the mood of separation, vipalamaha. So the gopis and the Mother Yashoda, all the residents of Vrindavan, appeared to be suffering because of Krishna's absence, but they were experiencing the highest form of spiritual ecstasy at the same time. So this was not known to Uddhava. So Krishna sent him here to witness this phenomena, to understand the mood of the residents of Vrindavan.
Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.